Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawadah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Ruach Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article real quick. Hey man, the Lord is making it plain and clear, what time it is, man. It's time for salvation, man. All right, our spirit, the men of the Lord's spirits are crying out right now for salvation, man, more than ever, man. All right, not just that. Just look at the course of how the world is going, man. Wickedness is crying out. Hey, man, wickedness is at such a high level right now that the wickedness itself is crying out, man. All right, it's banging on the door telling you, like, yo, this shit ain't right, man. All right, and this is what's going on even with like in the scriptures, throughout the scriptures, a couple of different prophets said things like, woe is me if I don't preach the gospel. Or it's like it's a fire that's burning inside of me. It's like, yo, man, I can't contain this, man. It's like you got to, let's say hypothetically you got this little dollhouse, right? And in the dollhouse, you got the little kitchen, right? Hypothetically, you got the little kitchen and you got a little stove in there, right? Now the stove catch on fire, right? But now, the fire is inside the dollhouse, but eventually that fire is going to spread and it's going to consume the whole dollhouse and it's going to escape the small dollhouse and actually catch the whole regular house on fire. You see what I'm saying? And that's pretty much like what this here truth is. If you actually have man of the Lord and you come across this here truth, just like Noah's situation, you're going to be forced to preach this, if that's what your lot is, because, something's going to happen inside of you to where it's just like, it's just going to come out one way or another, You can have a regular conversation with, just some regular person in the world, whatever, whatnot. They may say something that's going to trigger you, just like the scripture also say, you're going to be brought before basically kings and judges and magistrates and things like that, but take not heed to what you're going to say before that time, because the Lord is going to give you what you're going to say in that time, But the same thing, so basically, you're just speaking through the spirit, So, you're not going pre-planned or whatever, whatnot, when certain questions arise, the Lord's giving you certain things just to say, it's just coming out naturally, right? Same with this stuff, man. You can't even hide this here wickedness no more, man. It's just coming out as if it's so-called coming out naturally, or like that small fire inside the dollhouse on the small little stove. Eventually, that fire can't be contained by the goddamn plastic dollhouse. Eventually, it's going to come out and, you're going to be forced to look at it on the outside. And this is where we at now. Wickedness is on such a high level now to where you can't even so-called, not to say purposely ignore this, for instance, there's some people that's not into, different things. Let's say, for instance, right, wrestling is still around, right? WWF, right? I couldn't tell you who the fuck the WWF champion is right now because I don't watch that shit. You see what I'm saying? That, my world, that's something that I can not even saying I purposely ignore. It's like, if I'm watching TV, I just make sure I don't turn to this channel on this day at this time so I don't happen to see it. No, I just happen to be living my life and, I could, for all I know, WWF could not even be in existence no more. They could have had some kind of tragic accident where some wrestler died 10 years ago or some shit like that. And that's just been off the air, But I just don't know about it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not, how do I say, that big of a deal in this here world, But this, on the other end, is such a big deal in the world, even if, like I said, like, let's take, for instance, the wrestling situation. That's just something that, I watched it as a little kid. But once you get to a certain age, you're like, all right, we getting a little too old for this shit. We old enough to, go outside and, we got cars now, we got chicks and shit. We're not sitting at home watching wrestling no more, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you start living your life with other things on your mind because that's not your main focus. All right. So you can, again, somewhat ignore these things because it's not just the main thing or the main thing surrounding you, more or less to say, But in the opposite with this here new movement that's going on with this alphabet movement, we'll call it. All right. Everybody's being forced to deal with this. Not just this, but just wickedness and the signs that the Lord has set up, before the signs of Yahawashi's return. But nevertheless, it's speaking on this here alphabet situation. All right. This is so far out in the open now. It's not just like, when they first started having this here wave come up on the thing, you started seeing, like when I was in high school, I can remember how the shit was. Like, it was clear as day, man. We had, first, we didn't have no openly alphabet group people, right? Then all of a sudden we got this one girl, you know what I'm saying? And she was super popular. She was like popular before she even got to our school. Motherfuckers was talking about her name before she even got there, right? She got there and all the other girls, back when I was in school, this was like a bandwagon thing, You had the one kid doing this and the other kid tried to so-called jump on the bandwagon to be cool with this here other person, But, like the little emo kids, you You got the one oldest kid that's over there smoking cigarettes. Then the other kids start smoking cigarettes. Not because the other kids really wanted it. Like, oh, I just want to smoke cigarettes today. They're trying to fit in and be cool with the other little emo kids. So the same thing happened here. All right. Just like the teen pregnancies in school, you know. When I was in school, there was probably, I think there was like 2 girls in my grade that wound up having babies, you know. But nevertheless, nowadays, you know what I'm saying? So like what I'm saying about that is, you know, in the times when I was going to school, you know what I'm saying, you could possibly go throughout all school without seeing a girl getting pregnant, you know, or seeing these alphabet people openly, you have those people like, yeah, I think something about him, but not that they out there say, yeah, this is how I am, and y'all gonna just have to get with it, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, now when you go to school, these are curriculums that they're teaching the children, all right? They're teaching these elementary school children how to have safe anal sex, man, all right? Just think about that shit, man. You see what I'm saying? They're forcing your kids to know how to do these things. They're teaching your kids about gender assignment, gender binary, or binary genders or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, dog, you just further destroying these children, man. This is not no new concept, man. You know, y'all like to say y'all believe in science and everything. Well, they tell you about genetically what separates males from females. You know, let's just say on paper, what genetically separates males from females? X and Y chromosomes. You see what I'm saying? So no matter how you dress it up, no matter how many changes, sex changes, reproductive organ reassignments you get, your blood is still hardcore coded to tell you what the hell it is, man. At the end all be all, you know what I'm saying? You can't change that, all right? But nevertheless, you know, these are things that's now out in the open, to where these things are just speaking in the open right now, man. Like I said, man, they teaching your elementary school children how to have safe anal sex, about having a transitional surgery to go from a boy to a girl and things like that in elementary school, man. All right, so it's not like this is just something, you know, again, when you in school or whatever, whatnot, you can hide certain things from kids because it's not going on that rampant. You know, there was kids at school, all right, that was getting molested by either their parents, relatives, somebody, you know, you was going to school with these people, right? But it wasn't all open. It wasn't like this wasn't an everybody conversation. You see what I'm saying? Where everybody wearing this out on their sleeve, you know, but it was happening. You know, there was people that was, you know, in school with all kinds of different situations, but this ain't nothing that they just out there telling each and everybody, man. And when you really get into the percentages, all right, it's only like less than 5% of these alphabet people, all right, that's in the United States. So the majority of the people, are the 95% of the people are, how you would say, heterosexual people, man. But they're not telling you these lies about these, you know, they're not telling you that these are the lies that they're telling you, you know. But nevertheless, this is how they're trying to reconstruct this here society, all right. Also showing it, look, man, we at the end, like the scriptures say, man, roughly paraphrasing in Matthew chapter 24, I want to say like verse 22 or something, where it says, if the days wouldn't be shortened, no flesh would be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, man. All right, and look at what we're looking at. Like I'm saying, man, they teaching your children how to have safe anal sex in like the 3rd grade. You see what I'm saying? They teaching your kids how to, about you know, maybe you homosexual or whatever, whatnot. Matter of fact, I heard on the radio the other day, this lady called in, and you know, you got the wickedness of our own people, misleading our people, you know, giving them goddamn advice, man. All right, and you know, you got these goddamn people who sell out, whatever, whatnot, you know, and this is a society where they uplift the woman and put the woman on top, you know, so they call into the radio station, they ask the woman about whatever the situation, whatever, whatnot, you know, no matter what the scenario is. Like in one scenario, this woman was about to have a baby, and the father-in-law was going to go in there to, you know, to be with him because the husband was on the road driving trucks, you know. Now, the woman gave the advice, nah, you don't need to be in there, it's all about you, this and that. True enough, this is this woman and her privacy, but first of all, you don't even have kids. You don't know about this. And then when the male that was there that was allowed to actually speak, that was on the radio show, he was like, well, it ain't going to be like that. He's not going to be down there looking at your shit. He's in there to be comforting you. They got the shit separated where you up here and he's down there or whatever, or vice versa. You down there and he's up at the top, and y'all kind of separated by a curtain and shit, you know, giving her some comfort. This lady had never had the woman who was calling, this is her first child she's having, so she's getting advice. Now, she's getting advice from a woman that's unexperienced because she don't got no goddamn kids, all right? Now, the male that was in the room, all right, got like 5 goddamn kids. Now, this ain't really nothing about male versus female, and the woman should be better off giving the woman better advice because they both females. No, the most experienced person is better off for giving you advice in anything, all right? Even though the woman, you know, woman to woman, you would think that would be better advice, whatever, whatnot. But nah, she's unexperienced. She don't got no goddamn kids, all right? So she's just pushing the male out the picture or whatever, whatnot, you know? And then this woman's going in there and not having no support. The other scenario was another woman called in and was like, yo, I got this 10-year-old, and he expressed to me that he thinks he likes boys and girls, right? And the mom was all freaking out, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, I don't know what to do with this. And he tried to commit suicide or talked about it when he was younger. He don't want nobody to talk about it, this, and that. And the woman radio host was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. Well, not really you got to do what you got to do. Well, it's up to the child and how they feel and whatever, whatnot. You can't really do anything about it if that's how it is, you know, and so on and so forth. Where the mother's ultimately distraught, man. And really, the mom is the wisest motherfucker out here because she realizes that, look, the child's emotions are being manipulated by the shit that's going on in school. All right. So she's like, well, I don't know if this is something he's being taught and he just don't understand what's going on or if these are real feelings. But now we're in a society where you can't even really question your goddamn child, man. All right. Because, come on, man, you putting the child up over the parent, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of y'all have been around little children and shit? And it's crazy. As adults, the stupid shit that children say. Not saying that what the children be saying is some stupid shit. I'm talking about like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, you know? As a regular sane adult, if 2 adults was having these conversations, they'd be like, yo, that's some dumb shit you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But we understand as adults that these are children and their minds ain't on the same level. So if me as an adult go talk to you as an adult, say, I think I'm a unicorn. I think I'm a dinosaur. You gonna be like, I think you know, it's something wrong with your ass, man. You bugged the fuck out. But if a little child say that shit, be like, oh, I want to be a dinosaur. Oh, that's, you know, that's cute, whatever, whatnot. Cause it's a little child, you know. He's 3 years old, 2 years old, you know. I want to be Mega Man. I want to be Iron Man. I want to be Captain America and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my little nephew is like that right now because he was watching the Avengers and shit. He's 2 years old, running around the house talking about he want to be Captain America and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool. You want to be Captain America and shit. But now, if this was a real adult, you know what I'm talking to, like, bro, you grown as fuck. These superheroes are cartoon characters. They figments of your imagination. This shit is made up. It's a story. You can't be no real. That's not how to be a real superhero. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they got real so-called superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who save people out of burning buildings and shit like that. But they not, you know, dressed up in no cape and shit. You know. But nevertheless, when did we start taking little kids serious is the shit that they talk about. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is a little kid, man. Again, if 2 adults were saying the shit the little kids were saying, you'd be like, there's something wrong with this nigga, man. You'd be like, grow the fuck up, man. Like, of course you can't be no damn dinosaur, no fairy or no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But when a child say it, you look at them as like their mind is underdeveloped. So now when we talk about children who think that they like boys and girls, when they make that statement, I'm like, yo, when I was a little kid, and this little kid was 10 years old, I remember I'm like, yo, ew, girls, ew, girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you ain't really into girls like that. You want to hang out with your male friends and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Boys want to hang out with boys. Girls want to hang out with girls. Because boys got cooties and girls got cooties too. You see what I'm saying? When you that small. You see what I'm saying? This is the retarded shit we talking about. You know what I'm saying? When you thinking is in the minds of these children, all right, oh, you got the kids talking about each other got cooties and shit. Like, well, you don't even, what the fuck is cooties? You know what I'm saying? But when you get to adults, yeah, adults can get cooties. You know, they got STDs and shit. But in the minds of kids and shit, they just saying that. You know what I'm saying? But now you take this same ass child at the same ass age where you would disregard this motherfucker talking about somebody got cooties, but tell the same ass young age person, like, he think he like boys and girls, but yeah, you might need to have a sex change. Or you might be bisexual. But this is what they're training the society to be. This is what they're trying to do for the whole society, man. To emasculate the whole society and effeminize all the men and emasculate all the women, man. All right, which is really fucking up the genetics of the people, man. When you have a man with low testosterone levels, man, all right, that leads to things like impotence. All right, you can't get your rod up, man. You can't reproduce. What do you think is going to happen to the population? We just talking, I don't know how you want to say scientifically. You know, sex is, you know, the only purpose of sex is really reproduction. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, fuck, if you can't get your rod up, what's the point of even having that motherfucker, man? If you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't reproducing if that's the point of we looking at sex with. So why are you designing a society like this, man? Again, if time wouldn't be short, there would be no flesh saved, man. But these are the things that they're pushing out. I was trying to do a video on this the other day, but, you know, using a little discretion in some of the words I use and didn't want to catch a flag for that. But in this new cartoon movie, one of these new Disney movies, they about to make this character who is the fairy godmother, which I believe, I don't know what movie it is, but I believe that the thing, you know, reading on the article, I believe it was a female who played the fairy godmother, which, you know, that sounds normal, all right? And more than likely it was an Edomite, right, to Disney cartoons. But now they want to have a so-called black, not transgender, I don't know if he's transgender, but he one of these LGBTQ alphabet group people, right? But you want to have a man play the fairy godmother and dress up as a female for these little kids. You see what I'm saying? What are you teaching them? And who are the children's first teachers beyond their family and the household? You know, because when kids get to a certain age where they start putting them in front of the TV, they start watching these Disney children movies, Nickelodeon and shit like that, singing along with so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of y'all who got babies and little children that know about Baby Shark, you know, Shark do 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 do. They know about these songs and teaching these because these are their role models, the ones that's been set in front of them to you know, lead them in a certain ways or whatever, whatnot. But when these characters and things like that start showing these traits and these, you know, these certain things, what do you think the kids are gonna want to do? My same little nephew is infatuated with Spider-Man. He want to be Spider-Man. He be doing a little shit with his wrist like he's shooting webs out. But see, he don't really understand he can't shoot real webs out of his goddamn fingers and shit like that, but he think that way. But so when you start creating things like this for children when they grow up, what do you think they're going to be accepting? Just like now they got a term called the millennials or these snowflakes because they feel entitled, all right? Why do you think they feel entitled? Because it was brought up this way in society that way, you know? Oh, you're not going to get a first place trophy for winning first place. Everybody's going to get a participation trophy. There are no losers. You get whatever you want. How does that make you feel? Well, what is 1 + 1? It's 5. What do you think it is? It's 5. Well, how, do you think that's the right answer? Yeah, I feel that's the right answer. Well, goddamn it, that's the right answer. You know what I'm saying? Even though you can't prove it, you know what I'm saying? But this is what they've been doing, and this is why you have these millennials that the older generation is upset about. But how much more when you pressing this here LGBTQ community on them? All right? So it says, and now this one here is really, you know, aired to the older people. But look, they, you know, they hitting it from both ends. They really, you start out at the youth, all right? Because if you train the children up, they'll you know, back in the olden days, what they did, you know, the Willie Lynch, right? They would, we all know these stories about how they put fear into the mother, you know, when they used to separate the father in half, split his ass in half with the horses and shit like that. All right. And they would tell the mother, like, look, if you don't keep your little nigga children in line, you know, there's a whole story about how they, you know, light the fire between the male's legs and the shit that they be saying. But nevertheless, ultimately, the slave master would say to the woman, if you don't get these nigga children in line, I'm going to do the same thing to this nigga male, to your children, basically. And now, the psychological situation in a woman's mind is to do what? Protect and preserve the life of her children. So she'll do whatever she can, even to the point of harming her children, so that they don't harm the children. So she'll reinforce certain things into their minds so that they will perpetuate. Just like, look at us nowadays, man. This is why, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us didn't tell us. A lot of our parents didn't just sit us down and be like, look, the so-called white man is the devil. Don't fuck with him. Don't cross him. Whatever he say is right is right. Whatever you do is wrong. Don't fuck with him. But we've been instilled these things by our parents, you know, doing certain actions and certain things around, you know, us as little children that we picked up on and it's been passed down to us, man. All right. So how much more in these other situations like this, you know, when they, you know, and then ultimately Esau don't have to keep training us with racism. He trains our parents and our parents reinforce these things into us, man. All right. So it's a perpetual cycle. But how much more when you know, because again, if the parents teach the children that, when the children get older and have their children, what do you think they're going to do? Repeat the cycle. So when you raise children up, brainwashed into this alphabet community, what do you think they're going to do when they take over and become parents, lawyers, judges, teachers, doctors, policymakers, and things like this? They're going to put in a place of things that they've been taught growing up. They're going to perpetuate that, all right? So this says GQ Magazine's new masculinity is men and makeup and dresses, all right? And that's really what we see going on right now, you know? And they got toxic masculinity. Like, if you're not, you know, I don't even know what word I want to use for this shit, but if you ain't soft, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't more effeminate than a regular feminine female, you know what I'm saying? You can go find the most feminine female to wear dresses and do a lot of girly stuff, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Just be a straight woman, you know? But if you a male and you're not more feminine than that, if you're not dyeing your hair like Tekashi 6ix9ine with rainbow color shit in there, getting your eyebrows arched and shit like that, putting makeup on and lipstick on and shit like that, man, taking 1,000 selfies and shit like that. If you're not doing that, you got toxic masculinity, man. All right, you know, if you're not, you know, because one of the differences between men and women is men are logical, women are emotional. But now they even changed that to where they got men becoming emotional and not logical, man. All right, you got all these men over here, you know, freaking out and oh, I can't take this, blah, 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 so on and so on. All these crazy shit's going on. If I want to wear this, I can, so on and so forth, man. Like, but bro, what's logical, bro? Logically, this shit just not gonna work out, bro. Like, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, these are the things they're changing up, man. And why do you think they're doing this, man? All right, ultimately for mass destruction, man. Because why? They know this is gonna fuck your mind up and throw you into a state of confusion to where you ain't gonna be able to process shit. Because ultimately, you got everything backwards, man. All right, it's like you got them trying to take a space shuttle to space. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the computers and everything. Everything is in there set for this motherfucker to take your ass to outer space. But if you take out that computer program and you swap the shit out with a goddamn, let's say a oven, right? You take the computer out of the rocket ship and you put the computer of an oven in there or some shit, and you wonder why the space shuttle ain't taking your ass to space. Like, well, I mean, it still looked like a rocket on the outside, but you changed the internal components, man. The computer program that's inside of this shit, or you change it with a printer, right? The computer program inside a printer, man. You took the brains out of a printer and put it inside of a goddamn space shuttle, man. Well, the printer's brain is only designed to do a couple things, man. Print, scan, and copy. Those are the only 3 fucking functions a printer's brain know how to do, man. And you expecting to get into outer space with this goddamn rocket? Yeah, it looked like a rocket on the outside to take you to space, but the brains on the inside has been programmed to do something different, man. So it's never going to succeed in the thing it was meant to do. And that's what they're doing here. It says, I'm not sure who asked to, but GQ magazine has used its November issue to redefine the modern man. It puts a bunch of men in makeup and dresses and call it new masculinity. And this is this new world order they're going into, all right? Welcome to the future. GQ stands for Gentlemen Quarterly, but gentlemen are a toxic brand of post-Weinstein world. And in reality, when you're talking about certain classifications of men, just on a carnal sense, a gentleman will probably be at the highest level of this shit. You know, when you talk to these women, we want a good, nice man. We're all the good men that, you know, a gentleman is over all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're such a gentleman. You hold the door open, whatever, whatnot, you know? But they saying even that is toxic masculinity when a man opens the door for, you know, a woman, a weaker vessel or whatever, whatnot, man. You know, and doing all these so-called chivalrous things for these women, you know, they complain about that shit too, man. All right? It says, and not really to say this is the women that's complaining about this. These are these agendas that's being set up and being pushed forward, all right, to push these narratives out, because the majority of people don't really think like this, man. All right, you got an abundance of these women out here that's really depressed because men ain't showing them no attention, man. These women really can't. We ain't talking about the ones that's out there twerking and over advertising their shit, but like some of these regular minded women out there, they realizing it's hard for them to get any attention from any men out there. And I had to have this conversation with one woman because she was breaking down. I don't understand why men don't. They'll look, but they don't say shit to me. Like, men are scared to talk to women nowadays, man. Men is even scared to look at a woman or hold the door open for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you and a woman about to walk through the door of a gas station, a man will slam the damn door in a woman's face before he hold the door open for a woman and be accused of sexual harassment and shit like that, man. All right, so look, this the society, man. They got all this. Everything that a man does is toxic masculinity or sexual harassment and Me Too movement. So men ain't really even trying to talk to women no more. So it's setting off into these low self-esteem women already who live in this social media society where they got all these pictures and these likes to reinforce their self-esteem. Now men don't even want to talk to them and approach them. So what do you think it's doing to the minds of these women, man? All right. But again, these are these agendas that's being set up by these people, man. Just like the majority of these men out here ain't really dressing up and dressed like this bullshit, man. All right, but look, they putting this on the magazines and stuff as if this is what people was looking for, you know? It says GQ stands for Gentlemen Quarterly, but gentlemen are a toxic brand in the post-Weinstein world. Just don't sell as many overpriced clothes, watches, and aftershave as they used to. Hence why GQ appears to be trying to distance itself from the gender that's been buying it for decades. You got a magazine dedicated to men of an upper echelon, you know, wearing suits and shit like that, whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Now they can't even cater to that shit, you know, so-called decent-looking men, you know what I'm saying? You know, not walking around with their pants sagging off their ass and shit like that. No, these like decent men, but now all of a sudden they got to effeminize them, you know? It says GQ is only adding to the confusion. Yeah, this is the place of confusion, the land of confusion, because this new masculinity looks a lot like old femininity, in which that's what's going on. They taking away femininity. All right, you tell a woman to put a dress on, like, yo, why don't you put a nice dress on and some high heels? Why are you trying patriarchy? Why are you trying to be all whatever that shit where men trying to rule over women and shit? Like, bitch, why don't you put a dress on? That's feminine, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you just be women, man? You know what I'm saying? I know me for myself, man. Like, I can't stand a woman that reminds me in any kind of way of a man. You know what I'm saying? And women with short hair, like buzz cuts and shit like that. The last thing I want to do is be in the bed with a woman halfway asleep. You know, you be halfway asleep. Sometimes you roll over some shit. You know, you kind of asleep and kind of awake. Last thing I want to do is goddamn to be, you know, in the bed with a woman and then all of a sudden fuck around and touch the top of her head and the top of her head feel like the top of my head and shit. Now I'm in the middle of my sleep and shit. Got to think about if I'm in the bed with another man and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or a woman that's like those bodybuilding women and shit. Again, you in the bed with this here woman, you sleep or whatever. Now you know, cuddled up with the woman or whatever, whatnot, and she got bigger muscles than you, feeling like a man in the bed, you know? Or calling women on the phone. I remember I used to work with this one chick, you know, called into the job one day. She answered the phone. Hello. Like, bitch, why your voice deeper than mine? You know what I'm saying? And I was actually calling to speak to her ass. It's like, yo, is so-and-so here? Yeah, this me. And I was pulling one of those Cat Williams on next Friday, like, Damon, you are a boy. You know, my voice got all high pitched. Like, damn, why your voice all extra deep, man? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be talking to my lady or whatever, whatnot, and you sound more of a man than I do with a super deep voice, man. You got this Rick Ross voice going on or some shit like that. Like, bro, that's just unnecessary, man. Really unnecessary. You see what I'm saying? Men, all these tattoos looking like Lil Wayne and shit, sagging your pants looking like men. All these new, the new one of the brother YAHAWASHI, I believe it was, out in Texas, did this video on the new face of masculinity or males or something like that, where it was basically these the L and the LGB, the alphabet group, you know, these women, all right, just dressed up like men, all right? They've got men haircuts and all these different things, dressed like men, you know, so on and so forth. Got deep voices like men, tatted like men, and everything like that, man. All right, so this is the confusion that's going on, man. The women are starting to look a lot like men and act like men, trying to be all extra tough and all hard body. You got more women trying to fight men, you know, nowadays, and you got men acting like women. They all soft and docile. Well, if that's what they want to do, let them go ahead and do it. You know, I'm gonna sit over here and protest with you. You got men going around doing a slut walk with these women. Come on, man. You see what I'm saying? A bunch of simps and wimps out here walking around, man, and wondering why. Hey, man, so when the time of martial law come in, who gonna fight for these women, man? Not to say that you should be fighting for these women. I'm just saying that, you know, thinking of how these women should be thinking, like, yo, who gonna be all hard and tough, and who the fuck you gonna be hiding behind your hey boo or queen or whatever, you know, that dude over there. You gonna be hiding behind this nigga, he gonna be hiding behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck gonna be going on in these days, man? You know what's coming around the corner, man. All right? GQ is only adding to the confusion because this new masculinity looks a lot like old femininity. And frankly speaking, if anyone at GQ thinks men and makeup is new, they should go and watch some of the heavy metal from the 80s. All right? GQ editor Will Welsh has this message for all those men out there who didn't even know that they needed redefining. He says, new masculinity is very simple. It's, I know who I am and I respect who you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, hey, man, fuck all that. Put it this way. I'm going to do me and you going to do you. Let the wicked be wicked still, and, hey, you know, love the good and hate the evil, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to get it. You ain't got to force it down their throat, man. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like when the tides was turned before this, the alphabet movement, all right, you had the straight people and then the alphabet people, right? And the alphabet people were so-called in the closet, so-called being oppressed. But you didn't really have the straight people oppressing, like, oh, we got to convert all you people. Y'all got to use these words. You can't use those words. You do this and that, blah, blah. That shit wasn't happening like that, man. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is the flip side of this is going on right now, man. All right? It says, Walsh also says traditional notions of masculinity is being challenged. This is the classic view of a man who shares a bubble with the 5% over the 95%. I have absolutely no doubt that there are some men who will be grateful that there's a magazine is giving them permission to show their feminine side. The majority are just trying to watch football in their pants. In reality, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, again, if they wanted to have a magazine for these men, these more flavorful men or whatever, why not just create a magazine for that? But don't take, you know, not to say that this is a male magazine for all men in the world to be reading or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? Make it so on and so forth, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man, like, why y'all gotta have this takeover like that, man? All of a sudden to prove a point. But they're using this as a tool to program the people with, all right? Setting up the new standards, the new norms, all right? This is what they call groupthink, all right? A group society think, man. If everybody already accepts this, well, just like all the cameras up now, where everybody's, all right, well, ain't nobody really saying nothing about all these goddamn cameras and, you know, after 9/11 and how they, you know, treating people. If ain't nobody else saying nothing about it, I ain't gonna say nothing about it. So this is how they condition you with these things, all right? It says, don't get angry, it's just a metaphor. I'm sure some men prefer baseball or rugby. My prediction is the silent majority could care less who wants to wear mascara or frilly pants one way or the other. Yeah, the silent majority. That's really the majority of people, you know, heterosexual people, man. They the silent majority. They don't really give a fuck what y'all got going on, man. We just trying to do our shit over here, man. All right? But nevertheless, I mean, that's the equivalent to like, yo, man, I don't know no North Korean motherfucking people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no beef with them over there. Me personally, I'm just trying to pay my bills, keep my lights on and shit, right? And I'm pretty sure the citizens over there feel the same way. But if the two leaders got a problem, why don't they duke it out? Why they got to bring all us in the mix of it? Why we got to die and our children got to get bombed the fuck here to Baghdad for y'all shit and y'all beef? Same way here. If that's what y'all want to do behind closed doors, y'all go behind closed doors and go do all that shit. We gonna just go over here and do what our business is. We not over here forcing the government to pay our bill. Oh, y'all got to do this, y'all got to do that. It's not politically correct. We out here starving and y'all got all this money for wars and y'all ain't feeding nobody. It ain't like that, man. All right? It says, of course, with inference from Welsh throughout the issue is that until very recently, men have been toxic, destructive animals and should be ashamed for themselves and ask forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? And this is some bullshit face lie, but you got the wicked, all right, which is the Edomites, has been running on the planet Earth for the last couple hundred years, you know what I'm saying, creating wickedness. That's his ass, all right? It says, he essentially defined a new man as being someone who is nice, tolerant, and which must mean that the old man, your dad, for example, was none of those things, and doesn't mean that the woman who knows, and does that mean that the woman who knows who they are and respect others are behaving like men? All right, in reality, man, you had so-called nice and tolerant men back in the olden days, man. All right, you still have them these days, man. All right, something being nice and tolerant is like, you know what I'm saying, when you drunk and shit, you get into a car accident or some shit like that, you all fucked up and the EMS roll up on your ass and pull your ass out the goddamn car. You know what I'm saying? Even though you screaming and fighting or whatever, whatnot, they trying to help your ass out. There's plenty of cases, all right, where you have like the police, the EMS, fire truck, they dealing with somebody on some drugs or they in a fucked up state from a car accident, they trying to fight them. Why they trying to help them? And yet they still doing their job being professional, man. All right, not saying that women couldn't do this, but I mean, you saying that this is all men are just monsters, but no, starting with the Edomites, these are the goddamn monsters, man. All right. It says, the front cover of GQ has rapper Pharrell in a dress that looks like a sleeping bag inside the magazine, and keeping with men should be more ashamed of themselves thing. Pharrell more or less pleads for forgiveness for a song which pushed him into a big time. It was called Blurred Lines. In reality, the reason he's asking for repentance from these people or to be sorry, you know what I'm saying, is not because he didn't offend somebody and he feels sorry for it. No, it's more or less because he don't want to get blacklisted. He want to continue to keep sacrificing to these damn devils, basically, all right, for riches, all right? So it says, so does this edition of GQ offer anything genuinely useful advice? Where there's always a gem of comedian Hannah Gatsby, who is also a lesbian. Hello, the men. My advice on modern masculinity would be to look at all the traits you believe are feminine and interrogate why you're so obsessed with being the opposite. Because the idea that a man, that to be a man you have to be the furthest from being a woman that you possibly can is really weird. No, it's not really weird, motherfucker. That's pure balance. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, again, men are logical, women are emotional. All right? Put it this way, fuck men and women, right? You got a parent and a child, right? The parent has to act like a goddamn adult. The child is going to act like a child. Now, if the parent decide, because I'm dealing with a child, I'm going to just go ahead and act like a child, the fuck you think going to happen to the child, man? He going to pretty much wind up dying because all he want to do is eat Legos and shit and crayons. You see what I'm saying? He don't know no better yet. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, that's that balance. You know what I'm saying? You got a child that's going to do off some crazy off the wall shit because he a little child, don't know no better. The parent is there to guide the child and put him in the right direction, man. All right? But nevertheless, you know, men like the opposite of what they are. You know, like that's why we ain't really trying to get with men. We don't have that sentimental value with each other. It's like, notice how men don't really confide in their homeboys like they do with women. Men tell women certain shit that they don't tell their homeboys and shit like that, you know? Because that's the opposite sex. You want to deal with an emotional creature, not a logical creature. Men taking their problems to other men, like, nigga, suck that shit up and get the shit done, man. But a woman will probably hear you out while you try to get that shit off of your chest, you know? That's why men like women like that, because it gives them balance, man. Like the scripture say, a pillar of rest, man. A helpmeet, man. All right? It says, you know what? Let me just grab some scriptures. That's the end of that. Let me just bring out two real quick. This is Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man. You know, briefly touching on that, Slakia. Briefly touching on that, you know, one of the reasons why these women be having a lot of problems with their vaginas and stuff like that, with smells and infections and things like that, because you got this here orifice, this hole in your body, all right, that needs to breathe, all right, you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know, all right, put your hand over your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And keep, you know what I'm saying? Eventually that little hot air gonna keep breathing inside your face. That air gonna get hot, and it's got to breathe, man. It's got to breathe. Just like when you up under the cover for so long, you know what I'm saying? You got that heat wave going on or whatever, whatnot. Let's say you got the fan on in the room. It's kind of cold in the room, but you've been asleep all night. And in the morning time, you pull the cover up off you, that little heat wave leave up out of there, man. All right? You in the inside of that cover, you're not cooking at a high temperature, but you're slowly just, you know, cooking in there. Imagine the same thing with this here woman's box, man. If it's got these tight-ass little pants on, tight-ass little booty shorts on and shit like that, so high up that the goddamn, her box is hanging out the bottom of the shit, you know what I'm saying, hanging over the edge and shit, that motherfucker is not breathing at all, man. I ain't getting no air up in there. So obviously, what you think is going to go on with that, man? Infections is building up, man. All right. This is why you need to be wearing dresses and things like that so that that thing can breathe, you know. But nevertheless, it says, and also to stop causing confusion. When you got these women, we ain't talking about the trans ones, but we talking about the L's in this situation, right? These women that be walking around looking and talking masculine and shit and grabbing their crotch and sagging their pants like men, they actually look like men sometimes. And there was one of these rappers, I forgot who it was, but guess somebody tried to punch him at one of his shows in the back of the head, and the security jumped up and knocked the person out. And then, you know, just clean knocked the person out, and, you know, what his job was. But nevertheless, the next day, apparently, homeboy got roasted on the internet for knocking some girl out. It was a girl the whole time. But you walk around like a man, all right, causing all kind of confusion. Also, like when you go in the stores and you see these people, you know what I'm saying? It might just like a little overweight male or whatever, whatnot. Like, hey, how's it going today, sir? I'm not a sir. I'm a ma'am. It just throw everybody off and make everybody feel uncomfortable, man. All right, that's why you shouldn't be wearing that when pertaining to a woman, all right? Or a woman shouldn't be wearing that pertaining to a man, all right? And it says, neither shall the man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination to the Most High Yahawah, all right? But nevertheless, same way, man. Sometimes you see some of these men with these long ass hair, you know what I'm saying, wearing some skinny jeans or whatever, whatnot from a distance, and it's kind of looking like a chick, but then it's like, hold up, that's a nigga right there. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, whatnot. You know, just for, you know, hey, that's kind of shameful, man. Sometimes you see these men, you don't know if it's a man or a woman, all right. But nevertheless, you know, you ain't supposed to be cross dressing and wearing the shit that pertains to a woman, and women shouldn't be wearing that pertaining to a man. But what the new norm is? What GQ magazine telling men how to dress. Put this dress on. Put this skirt on. You know. Real quick, we're gonna go through Romans chapter 1 real fast. This is Romans 1:16. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach. All right. So, hey, we're not ashamed to preach this, even though it's a hard time, tough time for all this. They be flagging our videos. It's called hate speech. But hey, man, we're not ashamed of this here gospel. We just telling you what's in the scriptures, man. All right. For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of YAHAWASHI Hamashiach. For it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. Talking about to the Israelites that know the Israelites first, and then to the Israelites that don't know the Israelites and gonna wake up to the fact. For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. So basically, you're gonna catch your judgment, man. All y'all that's like out there drinking and driving, right, per se. We tell you, don't drink and drive. Everybody in the club decided to go drink and drive tonight. Now, they all live in the same trailer park or, you know, apartment complex, right? The club is in one spot. So now all 100 of these cars got to leave the club, go to the same apartment. But little do they know they didn't take heed to the warning. There's a DUI checkpoint on the way. Every last one of them going to jail and losing their license, going to be all fucked up, losing their job and everything, man. But guess what? Because they didn't want to listen, all right, it was revealed like, yo, I told you not to goddamn drink and drive, but you want to go do this now, you mad? Nah, it don't work like that. It says, for the wrath of the Most High is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. You ain't want to believe me when I told you this shit was wrong? But that which may be known of the Most High is manifest in them, for the Most High have showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, but being understood by the things that are made, even the eternal power and the Godhead, so that they are without excuse. All right? Hey, everything is plain is simple, man. There is no excuse. Why? Well, how come? Well, why? You know, why is it unnatural for a man to be sleeping with a man? Well, the only real reason that you got reproductive organs is for what? It's in the name of the reproductive organ, to reproduce. These are the organs you use to reproduce. Why can't men reproduce with men? Because they don't have the balanced body parts to do that, man. All right, it's just like you know, for the most part, to be able to drink some goddamn liquid, you need a vessel or a cup. You know, they go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you drink nothing out the cup? Because for one, you got to put a liquid inside the cup to be able to drink out of the cup. They got to go hand in hand, man. All right? So a man's reproductive organs got to match up with a woman's reproductive organs for them to do what? To reproduce. All right? That's why. So it's evident, man. It's clear. Verse 21. Because that when they knew the Most High, they glorified him not as the Most High, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts was darkened. So, hey, they knew no one was the jump off from the jump, man. We done went off for damn near 5,000, a little over 5,000 something years, man. All right, and human beings have still been procreating on this planet Earth, man. All right, by doing what? Men laying down with women and basically fertilizing her seeds, man. or her eggs, man. That's how we got here. Not no man laying down with no another man or no woman laying down with another woman. Nobody ever procreated that way, man. All right. Verse 22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Just like GQ magazine, you know, this is the new norm. This is the new way to do. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. So what do you think is gonna happen to your children when you raise them up like this? They're gonna always be soft, bullied. What happens if you get invaded? You ain't gonna have no real stand-up men. What happens when tyranny come? Who gonna fight for you? All right. When all these calamities come, you're gonna have this whole people that's all bugged out because they believed in whatever they wanted to believe in, you know. Or if I want to be a unicorn, I could be a unicorn instead of the reality of the situation that it is, man. You driving in your car, you done ran out of gas in the middle of the goddamn desert. No matter what you believe you can do, no matter what you believe the scenario is, no matter what you believe you deserve, your ass got to face reality and get your ass out that car and start walking. You see what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 23, they changed the glory of uncorruptible power into the image made like unto corruptible man, into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore the Most High gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their bodies between themselves. All right, and this is what it's getting into, you know what I'm saying? Now, going into these magazines, you know what I'm saying, or all the things they promoting, this is what the Most High giving them over to. Y'all didn't want to, y'all keep wanting to get rid of the Most High, y'all keep wanting to get rid of the Bibles, and go to atheists, and we don't need all these things. Now look what's happening to your society, man. All right, it says, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie. It's not that you're just getting rid of so-called religion or the Bible, you're getting rid of certain ways, and when you get rid of these same ways that was prescribed by the Most High, now you're going to chaos, man. You remove the law, now you have chaos, man. All right. It says, when they change the truth of the Most High into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator who is blessed forever. Amen. Yeah, you worshiping the intellect of the so-called white man, these Edomites, the wicked. For this cause, the Most High gave them up to a vile affection. For even their women did change the natural use to that which is against nature. And again, what's the natural use of a woman? Again, why the fuck you got reproductive organs? It's in the name. That's the natural use of it. You see what I'm saying? And likewise, also, the men leaving the natural use of the woman, all right, again, procreation, burned in their lust one towards another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of error which was meet. So again, like I said, man, you can't procreate with two men, all right, but guess what? All you spreading a bunch of diseases and shit because inside your goddamn rectum, your anus, all right, there's a great filter right there where it strips out pretty much all the shit, you know, in your intestines and stuff. It's stripping down all the foods that you eat and taking all the vitamins, the nutrients, the minerals, and separating them and putting here and there, so on and so forth. And also taking out bacteria out and storing it so it can leave your body as waste, all right? The poisons, your body extracts all the good shit that it needs, the food, and it excretes all the poisons that you don't need, all right? Just like if you drink, let's say, a soda or whatever, whatnot, water, whatever, anything you drink, your body's going to take what it needs. It's going to strip that from it. Let's say you drink a soda, right? It's going to strip the water, that's the little bit of water that's in there, and use it where it needs to be. And then you're going to basically be pissing out the rest of the soda and shit like that, man. Same way with food, man. All right, it's going to strip the vitamins and the nutrients that you need. And you're going to shit out the waste. All right, all the poisons and the bacterias. So when you put your rod, which has an open orifice, inside of a goddamn trash bin with all these bacteria and infections, what you think going to fucking happen, man? All right. It says, verse 28, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do things which was not convenient. That's exactly what they doing, putting their rods inside of a goddamn rectum to where it ain't nothing but death and diseases, with, you know, bacteria and shit like that coming up out of there, man. All right, you got these women and shit, they being such big horn dogs, but look, you're not procreating. Now the population growth rate is dropping off tremendously. All right, we ain't gonna have nobody here. You know, they already projected in 2050 pretty much all the Edomites to be extinct from no more procreation. All right, so it says, verse 29, being filled with all unrighteousness and fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful. And reality, I mean, these are all the traits and attributes that them people in the LGBT community have. When you see them, those loudmouth bigots, not your normal one that's just so happen to be doing this in their regular life, but the ones you see protesting and all that, this is what they look like, man, in the feminist group, so on and so forth, man. These are these damn demons that's promoting this shit for Jake to go off with, man. All right, these are the same ass things, man. All right, but nevertheless, these are the things that they promote as well, right along with these things. Inventors of evil things, man. All right, without understanding, man. You don't realize that all these men sleep with men. If y'all get the way y'all want to get it, you know, where everybody's a part of this alphabet movement, nobody would reproduce. The population will go down, man. You don't got, and put it this way, y'all like slaves and all that type of shit. Well, they ain't reproducing. Who the fuck gonna till the fields, man? You ain't got nobody to work for you. Well, they got robots, but nevertheless, you see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. You know what I'm saying, man? This is the time in the society that we living in where they're promoting this heavily, man. Heavily, man. All right, and pray for salvation, man. Pray that we get up out of here. Pray that we endure into the end, man. Hey, man, salvation is right around the corner, man. Make sure you got your oil lamp, man. Don't get caught like those 5 unwise virgins, man. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. Say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth as sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.